Well, the three lions of England are out of the FIFA World Cup. The Thomas Tuchel gets his tactics wrong on Wednesday against Argentina. What else can we say about Lionel Messi? 12-goal contribution at the FIFA World Cup, 8 goals, and of course 4 assists. Welcome to an edition of Sports Anger, to all the latest coming from the ever busy world of sport. Well, the English media, they are attacking Thomas Tuchel right now. They are not happy because England, they're out of the FIFA World Cup. Of course, they still have a game to play more. That will be the losers' final against France on Saturday, top place game at the FIFA World Cup. They are not angry. They want the head of Thomas Tuchel. They want him sacked right now. But of course, the reports we are getting from the English FA is that Thomas Tuchel will remain as their manager at least till 2028, when they will partake at the Euros in 2028. So right now, if you want Thomas Tuchel out of the England job, you need to have a rethink, because Thomas Tuchel will continue as the England manager. I've got my guy here, Joseph. What are you doing?
Yeah, very fine. Good to be back.
All right, let's quickly talk about Thomas Tuchel, because I think that he has blood on his hands. I mean, he's culpable. I mean, we can't excuse him from the defeat that happened to England on Wednesday against Argentina. Now, you scored a goal in the 55th minute through Anthony Gordon. Yeah. Good goal by Anthony Gordon. I also applaud Thomas Tuchel for starting Morgan Rogers from the right. Yeah. And then Noni Madueke was on the bench, same as Bukayo Saka. He gave a good assist to Anthony Gordon, but after that goal, England stopped playing football. They practically defended for the duration of that game. And I look at the competition of Thomas Tuchel. You remove Anthony Gordon, you brought in Estri Konsa, a defender. Yeah. You remove Declan Rice, brought in Michael O'Reilly, a defender. You remove Rhys James, brought in Dan Ball, a defender. So he practically brought in defenders on Wednesday to protect a one-goal lead. So I want to ask you, should we blame Thomas Tuchel for England's defeat? Well,
Tuchel has been defensive, of course, in the eyes of the media. And when he was asked about the tactical substitutions, he actually mentioned that he felt his players, talking about the England players, they were a lot of pressure. So it begs the question of why you would make those defensive changes. Because he felt that maybe the likes of Dan Bond, the likes of Estri Konsa...
But to put the pressure on the players, of course, because if you are not attacking, it means that you are vulnerable. You can concede goals.
Well, he was looking at handling pressure more by bringing on more defensive players, which, of course, is usually more often than not counterproductive. And we saw it yesterday because it was too early. That's why a lot of people are alluding that maybe he sold the game. Because why would you go and goal up in the 55th minute
of
a knockout game
against Argentina?
When you know that once you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Because they should have learnt the lessons that Egypt learned against Argentina.
Yes.
Egypt were even far off better.
Yes,
they were
got 2 goals now.
Of course. And they ended up losing it. And they didn't lose it based on the fact that maybe they were defensive. They were always on the front foot going after Argentina. Because there's one thing about South Americans, particularly Argentina, is that so far as we've seen in the World Cup, no matter how many goals they are done with, they go on hitting you. Yeah. They go on scoring. It's just like how the French team has played so far at the World Cup, barring the performance they had against Spain, unfortunately for them. But for Thomas Tuchel, we can say to a certain extent, or to a large extent, that he goofed. And the unfortunate thing is that the English media doesn't like you.
Of course, he's a German, he's a foreigner.
He's a foreigner, and you go on to, make those mistakes. A lot of people are even accusing him that why not bring on a certain Kobe Mino on the bench, a midfielder who can control the game to a certain extent and loses the ball the least amongst the other, of course, England midfielder. So it begs the question of course, if you look at the substitutions, even Ivan Toney, Marcus Rashford, these guys came on in the 90th minute with 6 minutes added on in the 90 minutes. So what was he expecting them to do? So I think he wasn't proactive. He wasn't pragmatic. He was, of course, pessimistic in his approach against the Argentine national team. And of course, he got the beating of his life. Because once Argentina scored that second goal, we saw the reaction by Lionel Scaloni. It was almost as if he knew that it was coming.
Of course.
Because he understands his team, he understands his players, he knows that there's a Messi who can spring up anything to assist in that game against England. So, and you have a coach, of course, you can say Champions League winning coach, Thomas Tuchel, but he did not understand that at the football's knockout stages, at the biggest stage of football,
when you have 30 minutes to play, that's a lot of time.
You don't go out and play defensive game. It doesn't work that way. Because we applaud the likes of Cote d'Ivoire when they faced Norway in the round of 32. We applaud a lot of African
Cape
nations.
Verde as
They
well.
were Cape Verde. They went on the
Spain.
front foot, and they almost showed that they can get a result. They can grind out a result. We saw that game, Argentina against Cape Verde. The goals that were scored against Cape Verde, we can say, of course, they were motivational. Okay. But these guys were always on the front foot. That is one thing that England under Thomas Tuchel did not do. And now, a lot of people are now criticizing his tactics. What has changed since the Gareth Southgate era? That's a big question in the eyes of the media.
All right, because if you look at England right now, they've been coming close. I mean, quite unfortunate for them. They're out of the FIFA World Cup. In 2018, England got into the semi-finals of the World Cup under an English manager in Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
At the Euros in 2020, 2021, they got to the final, loss to Italy. The last Euros, they got to the final, loss to Spain. And then that was the reason why they brought in Thomas Tuchel. Of course, Thomas Tuchel was not a popular decision. I mean, most English people don't like Thomas Tuchel because they will have wanted an Englishman to be in charge of the three lands of England. Of course, the FA went for Thomas Tuchel, just like they went for Fabio Capello and the Italians some years ago, and it didn't work out. Thomas Tuchel, well, in the semi-finals now. But I've been watching podcasts for the past 24 hours about reactions of English media, Talk Sports, Sky Sports, and they've been very hard on Thomas Tuchel. I mean, of course, they don't like him. There's no love lost. It's not as if they like him before anyway. So if they could not spare an Englishman in Gareth Southgate, there was no way they were going to spare Thomas Tuchel for what happened on Wednesday. Now, people have also accused Thomas Tuchel. Yesterday, I was just thinking, you had Bukayo Saka on the bench. You had Noni Madueke attacking players on the bench. And he was asked about his decision. He didn't take responsibility. He said, well, if he had brought in two strikers as well, if England had lost that game, you guys would have still criticized me for not being pragmatic. I mean, can we totally blame Thomas Tuchel? He said, well, as a coach, you make some decisions. Sometimes it goes south. Sometimes it goes in your favor.
Well, the problem with the decisions is that there are decisions that seem more logical than others. Because it will seem more logical to even have attacking players on at that point go foot to foot against Argentina, who you know that these guys are relentless.
Because I'm looking at the quality of Argentina and England. Yes, if you agree that Argentina probably have more quality, but England also have quality players. Jude Bellingham, there's Anthony Gordon, there is Bukayo Saka, there's Harry Kane.
Yeah, maybe we can say yes. Jude Bellingham, for instance, has lit up the tournament for the England national team. But again, let's ask ourselves a question that has been bothering me actually is the question of are this English player actually worth the hype? Because we know right from time that the English media has always been the loudest. Before the start of the World Cup, the England team or the English team was leaked by English pundits, English media personalities. We saw Ben Jacobs leaking out lists. So I think right from time, the English media has always overstayed or always overdone.
Of course, terms of they have the media, so definitely, of course.
Unfortunately, I'm not saying that these players like Morgan Rogers, maybe Rashford, Saka, they don't have the quality. We've seen them in the biggest occasions, even in Champions League and all those. But it just begs the question of, are these players actually all that? Because we've seen that with maybe the Spanish national team and maybe right from time, the hype has not always been there. For instance, if you're looking at some other national teams.
You know why I don't really agree with you? Because you are trying to say that England do not have enough quality to win big trophies. That's what you're trying to say.
That's why they've never won it since 1966.
Harry Kane scored how many goals for Bayern Munich last season? Bukayo Saka, you could argue that he was still out of the Arsenal team, but he was still a first-team player for Arsenal. Even though in Madueke, Declan Rice was a mainstay in the Arsenal team. Marcus Rashford was good for Barcelona whenever he was called upon. I mean, look at the defense line. Reece James was a mainstay at Chelsea. Jordan Pickford was fantastic for Everton. So I don't think it's about the quality of the English, the players. But let's move on from that. Let's talk about England. I mean, whether the English press like it or not, Thomas Tuchel will remain as the coach of England at least to Euro 2028. Now, I want to ask you, somebody and I were discussing something some hours ago, and he said, see, it's not even about Thomas Tuchel. It's not about the quality of the players. Sometimes we have not won something in a long while. It has a way of affecting your psyche. In football, you need to get over the line first. Once you get over the line, it becomes easy. Now, the fact that England have not won anything tangible for a long time is affecting their mentality. It's affecting their psyche. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree. Because
the last time, they have not won the World Cup since 1966. They have not won any major trophy for a long time.
Yes, but you have to be good enough to win something first.
Okay.
And then now, after winning it, you now, of course, talk about the psyche. Because we saw that with Argentina. At some point, Messi even retired from the national team because he felt maybe he could not win it again.
Do you know why I'm asking you this? You know why I'm asking you this? Joseph, in 2022, Argentina was not good enough. I mean, that 2022 World Cup, they were not very good. They just wobbled and fumbled into the final and they won the competition. This competition, they're not under pressure. They're just enjoying themselves. And they are playing very well. I mean, they are playing beautiful football. People say, well, when you have won something, it has a way of affecting, boosting your morale. That if you are a proven winner, whether you are playing against another big country, that's the way of helping you to get over the line.
Of course, it does. Let's take a domestic example of Arsenal. Arsenal were always knocking at the door. If you're looking at it, some people did not see the progression, particularly with Arteta's first season.
Because he was unable to get over the line.
Of course.
Very important.
Eighth position. Then before he now started springing up second. He had 3 seasons back-to-back second finishes until he won the title last year. So what I'm trying to say is that England has to keep knocking on the door till when they face the bigger oppositions, the better opposition. Let's take, for instance, Spain, France. Of course, France were seen as the better opposition. A lot of probability gave France 70-80% chance of winning that game. But what happened? We saw that technicality and tactical prowess was what won the game for Spain against France. So if England wants to compete, if they want to win something big, it means you have to beat the biggest, the best in the field. So of course, maybe against Argentina, if they had won that game, it would have given them a booster in the finals if they should face Spain. So my problem is just going back to that statistic, because we're going back to history. History teaches a lot anyways. The fact that no foreign manager has actually won the World Cup before, and maybe it will continue to be so. Because if you're looking at the finals, Spain, they're led by Spanish national Luis de la Fuente. If you're looking at Argentina, they're led by Scaloni, who's also an Argentine. So I think it just goes back to that. Maybe Thomas Tuchel eventually may not win anything. Let's quote and unquote for the England national team.
But according to the feelers that I'm getting from the English FA, they will stick with Thomas Tuchel. He has his next task right now is the Euro 2028. So hopefully, if he gets to win that one, I mean that would be a boost for England going to the World Cup in 2030. Because I mean, if he wins that, I'm very sure England will say, well, we have been coming close. Last 3 World Cups, we got to the semi-finals in 2018. In 2022, we didn't go past the quarterfinals. In 2026, we got to the semi-finals. Maybe you can keep faith with Thomas Tuchel in 2030 when the next World Cup will come up. I mean, but that's Thomas Tuchel. He has done his bit. But
of course,
that's he will continue as the coach of England.
Of course, there's even that progression with let's say the Spanish national team. You know, since they won it in 2010, they were struggling until Luis de la Fuente came on board.
They won the Euros in 2008. They won the World Cup in 2010. They defended the Euros in 2012. And right now they are in the final of the World Cup again.
And the gap between that 2018 thereabout till now, we know that they had, of course, they didn't have a great competition at the World Cup tournament. And until Luis de la Fuente came and settled things down, we saw that they've had progression in 2024. I mean, they defeated France, let's not forget. Now, they're now in the finals of the World Cup. So maybe they can even win it. Time will tell.
Let's talk about the victors, the conquerors, talking about Lionel Messi and group, talking about Argentina. Fantastic performance against England. But let's talk about Lionel Messi. He's 39 years of age, Joseph. And before the start of this competition, I mean, myself and some guys, we did the preview, and nobody thought that Messi will have this much impact as he has done with Argentina. 8 goals, 4 assists already, 12-goal contribution for a 39-year-old player. Nobody saw it coming. I want to ask you, Joseph, I think Messi has surpassed every expectation. Do you agree with that? That he has pleasantly shocked people?
Well, he has actually, because given the age that he is and the way he's playing, look at the way he played against the England national team. The way he was dribbling like it was Messi of 2008. But it just seems like that has always been the story of Messi's talent. But, I mean, there are still some records he has to break. For instance, Jos Fontaine had the most goals in a World Cup, 13. He has 8. Will he be able to score that much in the finals?
He's not going to score 4. 5. He has to score 5 in the finals. Forget about that.
So, I mean, maybe some records may not be broken after all, but it doesn't take anything out from the fact that Messi's career has been stellar. And his international career maybe is coming to a close, obviously. We saw that with Cristiano Ronaldo. We saw that with Luka Modric. Several players who believe, even Manuel Neuer of the German national team. But let's not take it out of context. I think for Lionel Messi, he has actually lifted that Argentine spirit of 1986 when they won it with Maradona.
40 years ago.
And now Maradona,
the famous hand of God. Against England.
I mean, now unfortunately, Maradona was not there to see it in 2022.
He died in 2020.
And of course, if Argentina wins the World Cup in 2026, he will not also be there. But it just shows you that maybe decades after decade, Argentina always has maybe that player that stands up and maybe does the spectacular for them. But if Lionel Messi is leaving the World Cup stages, if he's leaving international stages, the biggest question is who in that team would step up? Who will be the next Messi? So it just throws a lot of
People are already saying that
questions.
Argentina is a one-man team. If you remove Messi from that team, they will struggle.
Well, you can say that because we have a creative player.
They have
in
scored
Nicolas.
practically 80% of their goals in this competition.
No doubt, you can say that. Assist also.
Yes.
You can say that. But look at Lautaro Martinez. This guy is not getting younger.
Yeah.
Look at Julian Alvarez. If you look at the midfield also, more Argentine
Enzo
players
Fernandez,
are Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, Leandro Paredes. Some of them are even defensive-minded players.
Definitely.
Even this guy is aged. Talking about Rodrigo De Paul.
Yeah.
So maybe the next generations for now may suffer in quotes.
Garnacho.
Garnacho was not even called up. So
I was
maybe
joking.
Garnacho of 2022 because he was in the squad.
He was at the World Cup in
anyways.
2022.
But unfortunately for him, he may not be the golden boy. There's a Nico Paz
Yeah.
of Como. So maybe there are few players who can maybe stand up. There's no Dybala again also.
Yeah, of course.
So there are players who have come and there are players who
visited, definitely.
Of course.
All right, that's our package today on Sports Hangouts. Let's get your reaction. We've discussed something today about Thomas Tuchel. Of course, the English media, they are not happy. England out of the World Cup, but they have a top place game to play on Saturday against France. That game promises to be interesting
Of
as
course.
well. I mean, just like a final, but again, they call it the losers' final between England and France on Saturday. So, do you agree with the English FA? They've confirmed that Thomas Tuchel will continue as the coach of England beyond the 2026 World Cup. So, if you are expecting them to sack him, no, he's not going to be sacked right now. At least for the next 2 years, Thomas Tuchel will be in charge of the Three Lions of England. And of course, tell us about Lionel Messi. He has 12 goal contribution at the FIFA World Cup, 8 goals, and of course 4 assists. People are even saying that he might win the Ballon d'Or if Argentina gets to win the FIFA World Cup. Let's get your reactions. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe on our YouTube channel, Sports Hangout. We'll be very happy to hear from you. Like, share, comment, and of course, see you some other time. My name is Toby. Until next time, we'll meet you.
And of course, it's been a pleasure. My name is Joseph. Keep talking sports.